Welcome everybody to another edition of the Bitcoin Minute. I'm your host, Joseph Wagner, and we are going to discuss the best play for Bitcoin traders right now. With all the ETF euphoria fading out and the scheduled date for Bitcoin block rewards halving still 3 months out, what should you do right now? While long-term traders may be simply holding on to Bitcoin for the upcoming halving narrative and just for the long haul, if you trade Bitcoin regularly, this is a good opportunity to short the market, and I'll explain why in the show. You see, it's not just Bitcoin that has experienced a massive rally since October, but also other stores of value like gold and silver. Both gold and Bitcoin experienced their annual highs at about the same date and started their rally from about the same time. Same with silver, although the highs achieved in silver were pretty much equal to the highs achieved in spring of last year. And the cause of all of this correlation between these assets is the US dollar. If we look at the US dollar, since October, it has fallen out of bed from a high of about 107 all the way down to the recent lows just above 100. This time is also when those three assets hit their peak. And as the dollar has started to rise off this low right here, we have seen all three assets fall in synchronicity. So back to Bitcoin. What were some early indicators that told me that this correction was coming before it actually occurred? One such indicator was moving averages. 2 Fridays ago, we had this large red candle that broke cleanly below the 20-day exponential moving average. Since that time, Bitcoin has failed to achieve a price point above it, and it even acted as resistance here last Tuesday. Since last Tuesday, we've had another break below the 50-day simple moving average, and we've fallen almost all the way to the 100-day moving average. This coincides with what the Ichimoku cloud is saying, and that is, this is the last stop for Bitcoin before a major break. And as we can see, the future direction has just turned negative, indicated by the red cloud or change in color from green to red. So where do we think Bitcoin can fall to over the next couple weeks to couple months? To do that right now, we want to take a look at a monthly chart. Our go-to method for finding out where a correction will lead us is Fibonacci retracements. So if we look at the rally that occurred since the COVID crash up to the all-time highs, we can see Bitcoin briefly touched upon a 38% retracement. Now, let's draw in a retracement from the recent rally. What you'll notice is we have both retracements marking the 61.8% value at the same price point. This leads me to believe that this is the area that Bitcoin will likely fall to before it starts to rise again. Likely, it will fall back down to here and rise once again for the halving narrative. And after the halving, I do strongly believe we will see a new all-time high. If you follow me, you know my prediction for the price at the next halving date being just under 59,000. Now, it's been 6 full months since we've come out with an episode, but as always, I like to go back to our last edition and see how our predictions have aged. This is an excerpt from July 21st, Bitcoin Minute.
Bottoms, but I think more likely if it breaks through the $28,000 support, I think more than likely we are going to see Bitcoin find support at $26,000. So my forecast for the short term, bearish, with the caveat of whenever that ETF gets approved, we're off to the races. If we crack 32,000 before that, we're off to the races. Highly, highly unlikely. But either one of those scenarios, and Bitcoin can easily shoot up to $40,000.
So back to our live charts. We did in fact touch down upon $26,000, trading to actually $25,000 before the ETF narrative got stronger, and we rose beyond what I had predicted that would take us to, all the way up to about 48,000. Now, we have just in active trading broke below 40,000, and with the halving narrative still months away, I feel we are overdue for a correction leading up to the spring 2024 block reward halving. So, once again, why is this all happening, and what should you as a trader do? Well, I said it at the start of my show, and I'll say it again. I believe the proper move is to short the market. And as the candle for the 23rd has just opened up overseas, we see that Bitcoin has indeed broken below the cloud formation. More evidence that points to the fact that Bitcoin will move lower before it goes higher. Again, I think our target has to be $28,000. So that leaves plenty of room to the downside. For anybody who doesn't follow our articles, I want to cover our multi-month trade that we just exited about 1 week ago. We began this trade by sending out a trade alert on October 22nd to buy the market at this price and put the stops here, along with a little caption and a chart showing where to put the stops at and where to buy at. We came out with this article on November 15th, along with a trade alert we sent out. Traders that took our call should raise their stops, and this wasn't the first time we raised our stop, by the way. Traders who missed the opportunity to take the last trade can enter long positions in BTC, and I also recommended anybody who had been long from 31,500, if they could, enter into another position. Now, we raised these stops several times, and then finally, on January 12th, we came out with this article that showed how the fake pump in Bitcoin actually held up better than the real announcement of a spot ETF. And we saw it was going down gradually, and at that moment, we decided to exit both of our trades. Traders had the option to raise their protective stops up to 44,000 or sell at the market. Any trader who took both of those trade recommendations made a 265% profit in about 2.5 months. And this is achieved with no leverage whatsoever. We simply recommend buying a Bitcoin, and if you can't afford a whole Bitcoin, which most people can't, simply buy what you can. It can be 1/10, it can be 1/20 of a Bitcoin. Also, if you guys need advice on which exchanges to buy your Bitcoin from, contact me directly at thegoldforecast.com/support, and we'd be happy to help you. And to catch any of my trade alerts or trade recommendations in between episodes, simply go to thegoldforecast.com/crypto. We'll take you to this page, and it is free to subscribe. And once you subscribe, you will get all our trade alerts sent to your email and soon to your phone via SMS text message, as well as our articles detailing proper action right at the bottom. This has been Joseph Wagner for another Bitcoin Minute Update. We'll talk to you next time.